Good morning. Oh,
Where
can't
do
see
you
me?
stand with Isaiah, please, sir?
Can you guys not see me?
We can hear you, that's all we need.
You're right. There we go.
Okay, sorry.
Isaiah, he's better. I think he'll be ready after the off day. I'm pretty sure. Today was more of a kind of a precaution, just to try to not make something out of, something that wasn't that big of a deal. But as of right now, I'm hoping he'll be ready, 100% after the off day.
I don't want to jump on anything, but Calhoun and Isaiah, is there any concern this is turf related?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think Isaiah did it when he was on the bases, so he was running. I think it was when he was running on the triple, so I don't think it had anything to do with that. And Kiner doesn't really play on the turf at all. I mean, he plays in the dirt, so I don't think that's turf related at all.
And Chu is just manager's decision today, just to double check?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Next question. Evan?
Hey, Woody, wanted to check on this. Did you guys ever finalize a code of conduct, and are there any kind of bullet points you can provide for us?
We have, and we're running it through with the players. We're going to have a discussion about it. So I think after that, then I wouldn't mind even giving you guys a copy at some point. So
if you're comfortable with that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll check with our guys and find out. But if not, then I'll definitely have a list of things to explain to you guys.
All right. And I just wanted to double check also on, you said Lyles would start the 8th game, right? So he'll move ahead of Gibson in this next turn through the rotation?
Yeah, it's just to get him to make sure he doesn't pitch. He doesn't go too long without pitching.
Okay. Okay. Are you at all concerned, I know it's just 2 games, but are you at all concerned that your guys have done themselves out a little bit about how big this place plays?
I think it's going to take some adjusting, especially based on some of the guys that have played here a long time, that have played at the old ballpark. I don't think so. I mean, listen, it's something everybody's going to have to deal with. It's easy to complain. It's easy to, look at some balls. I think it's actually helped us more than hurt us in the first 2 games. There's probably a couple homers that would have been, maybe at our old ballpark by the opposing team. So, I mean, listen, it is what it is, and our guys are going to have to get over it. Otherwise, it's going to, I would hate for that to hurt our chances of having a good season.
Great. Thank you.
John, you got some questions?
Yeah, Woody, I wonder about the psychology of that, right? Of course, you always tell guys that when there's any offensive malaise or any, slump, if you will, this isn't a slump, but you got to stick with your approach. You got to stay with the program. But, man, this is a 60-game season. Are they going to have to battle the psychology of that a little bit?
I don't think so, because, I mean, when we played in the inter-squad games, it didn't seem to – I mean, we hit homers to center. Kiner hit one to right center over the 410 mark. So, I mean, if you hit it, it goes. And I think there's been a few guys that have just missed some balls where, maybe Story and Arenado are used to those balls going out in Colorado. I think maybe those guys had some gripes about our field because they're typically, in Colorado, those are homers. Here they're not. And I think in most other parks, it probably isn't as well. So I don't think it's, hurt us a ton. I think Willie's ball yesterday at our old ballpark was a homer. But, I mean, that's really one of the few ones I think we've hit that I thought, at the old ballpark would have been a homer, not here.
It seems like all 3 of the catchers, we've talked about the great job Robbie did framing the other night in the 9th inning. It seems like all 3 of the catchers are doing a really good job of that. Has framing been an emphasis or something that you guys have worked on a little harder this season?
Yes, it was something that we started kind of last year, and I know Hector's worked really hard this offseason, at the end of last year, and then, heading into the offseason, had a lot of things for those guys to work on. And then getting into the original spring training, that was a main emphasis of ours, was to improve our framing and then how we're going to do that. So, hats off to Hector and the staff to really putting a good program in place. I go down there and watch them work. And it's pretty impressive to see what they're doing to try to improve their skills at that, and it showed. Like you said, it's really cool to see in 2 games how it's actually shown to help our guys get more strikes. So, it's something that we're going to continue to work on and continue to improve. And like I said, hats off to Hector and the staff.
Yeah, and today you get to send Corey Kluber out to the mound, kind of like we were talking about yesterday. This guy could have started opening day. Awfully nice that you have that sort of depth when this is game 3 of the year.
Absolutely, and it just continues on every game. It's going to feel like that. So anytime we don't play well or we lose a couple games, and we know we have a horse coming right back on the mound the next day, and I think that gives us a huge confidence boost just on every front. Offensively, like I said, we know we don't have to go out and score 8 or 9 runs. If we score 2 or 3, we're going to have a chance to win a game. So it's a huge factor in our clubhouse for sure.
Thanks, Woody.
Other questions, Dave?
Woody, at the risk of exposing myself here a little bit, I don't know that I've seen Russ Snyder play a lot of first base in the exhibitions that I've seen. How much work has he gotten over there, and how much do we expect to see him at first?
I would say, that's probably there in left field is where, is basically what I told him, to be ready for. Right-handed first base, if, like I said, if something happened to Kiner or if Frazier needs a day off, if we want to get a right-hander in there, that's our guy. I know Heineman can do it as well, but I wanted to get Ref in there. I wanted to get his bat in the lineup. He's been pretty impressive at the plate, so I would expect to see it probably a little bit more, as long as if Kiner's out a little bit longer, then you'll probably see a little bit more of him for sure.
Other questions, please? Anything else? TR.
Chris, see if I can make this clear. But Beltray retired and you traded Mazzara, and that kind of leaves Joey a little bit alone. I know he's got plenty of other help around him, but those were 2 big guys that were really around him early in his career. I'm just wondering, is Gallo embracing, or the fact that he's got to be the man now in the middle of the lineup, kind of alone, or is that a stretch on my part?
No, I don't think he's alone. Obviously, I trust all those guys around him. I think with Rugi behind him, and Danny's made a ton of strides, so I think he's protected pretty well. But Joey wants to take on that role. He wants to kind of be our best player. And I've talked to him about that. There's some responsibility that comes along with that in the clubhouse, on the field, off the field, and he's open to that. He wants to be the guy here. He wants to. I don't want to call him the face of the franchise, but that's what he kind of envisions, and I think we all do. But the progress that Joey's made, like I said, on and off the field, I'm really proud of him for that. But he's got to keep going. He's got to keep going and take on that responsibility.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, please? Evan?
So is this what you would consider kind of an experiment against left-handed pitching, or is it more like the traditional start of the season, you want to get as many guys actually on the field as you possibly can?
I'd say a little bit of both. I wouldn't say it's an experiment. I mean, I trust all those guys that are in there. I definitely want to get some of those guys in the lineup and get them some at bats. I mean, they're on this team for a reason. We didn't keep them just to put a name on on a lineup card. I believe in those guys for sure. So, it is important to a 60-game season. I'm not taking that into consideration as much as I normally would in a 162-game season. That would be my main goal, is to just get everybody at least in a bat or two early in the first couple games. I'm not really thinking that way right now in a 60-game season, but I definitely think that those guys can provide a ton of value, especially against tough lefties, guys that are tougher for our chews, and even Willie. I got Willie down in the lineup waiting for him to kind of get rolling, and I'll move him back up. But just to try to have an answer to some tough lefties that we might face.
And is there something on Russ Snyder that profiles particularly good against left-handed pitching?
I trust him against righties too. I mean, I felt like he was giving us some of the better bats in camp, to be honest with you. Against, didn't matter who was throwing, but obviously the left-handed pitcher kind of represents the best way to get him in the lineup. With Izzy and Frazier over there, and finding a way that I don't really want to give the other guys days off against righties, especially our left-handed hitters. So if there is a tough lefty, this represents the best chance to get ref in the game, and I want to see it.
What's your level of concern for Corey Kluber?
Anytime your starting pitcher comes out after one inning, you're obviously concerned. So, we're going to obviously evaluate him today, and hopefully he comes back in tomorrow feeling better. But we're obviously taking all the precautions in the world. So we'll see. We don't have anything else to update right now, but hopefully we'll have something tomorrow.
When his warm-up bullpen session and Julio came back to the dugout, was there any inkling that something was up?
No, not at all. Everything was fine. He just said, a little tightness behind his shoulder. That's all. So we got him out of there as soon as he felt not normal.
Okay, what else? Evan?
Hey, just for context, this guy's a tough guy. He pitches a lot of innings traditionally. For him to acknowledge that there was an issue after one inning, what does that say to you?
That's the first inning he's thrown for us, obviously in a real game. So, he is a tough guy. He's compiled a bunch of innings in his career, so that's why we were concerned. Like I said, anytime somebody says something as a pitcher related to arm or body, we're going to obviously take it serious. So, like I said, hopefully tomorrow he comes in and feels a little bit better, but we'll see.
Other questions? Alex?
For me on the offensive side, when you talked about lineup construction and Elvis Andrews, it was if things weren't going well in the 2-hole, you would be no problem taking him out of the 2 slot. Do you see that same thing with Danny Santana in the 3rd slot?
I think that goes for all of our guys, to be honest with you, unless they've had multiple years of a track record. Not a lot of guys have a track record, so I'm going to put the best guys in the lineup that I think are going to win the game. I love to ride it out for a while and just see how guys do, but at the same time, we have a 60-game season. So, yes, I think that kind of rings true for everybody in our lineup. We need the most productive guys at the top of the lineup. Obviously not giving up on Danny by any means. Probably have him in the 3-hole in, 2 days from now. But we also got to see, production, and all the guys know that.
And also, Joe Colombo, was there anything strange in the 4th inning you saw from him? Because he mowed down in the 2nd and 3rd innings just fine.
Yeah, it was a little surprising, to be honest with you. I don't know if his pitch count wasn't very high, so I don't think it was from being tired. I don't know if he was kind of babying some of his pitches. His command, got a little bit erratic, I guess. He missed high on a few pitches, so I don't know if he's trying to baby some strikes in there. But yeah, the first couple innings was lights out. He 4 strikeouts and some pretty good hitters. So it's something he can learn from. He's got to keep his foot on the gas the whole way through. We didn't ask him to go out there and go 60 or 70 pitches. I was just, we were just seeing if we can get 30 or 40, one time through maybe. And I don't know what that last inning was, but it wasn't as sharp as the first 2.
Next question, Mac.
There we go. Chris, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Chris, you don't think any of Corey's problems today has anything to do with what he went through last season with his oblique or even the arm injury when he fractured it? This is a different animal?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it has anything to do with it. That's pretty far. It's pretty far in the past, so I don't think so.
Other questions, Levi?
I might be getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here, but if Kluber does miss time, are you looking at Joe Colombo as the guy to fill in, or Allard, or is that a decision you just haven't gotten to yet?
I would say probably Joe's a little ahead. He seems pretty good right now, so I don't know though. We're going to sit down and kind of talk through it and see what makes the most sense. If it's like a piggyback situation, or just 2 or 3 innings or 4, whatever it may be, we'll talk about it right now.
What else? Evan?
There was a quick glitch. Did you say Colby or did you say Joe on that?
I said Joe.
You said Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. The other thing was, what's your thought on what you've seen on the defensive side these first couple of games?
Yeah, we've given away some outs for sure. Anytime you give, a major league team, regardless of how good they are, extra outs, it never turns out well. So it's something that we discuss often. We pride ourselves on playing good defense and having sound defense behind our pitchers. But when you have good pitching, you got to be able to make plays behind them. And we 2 days in a row we didn't, and it cost us.
Thank you, Chris.
Any other questions? TR?
Is there anything in particular you're seeing from your offense collectively?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's early, so I don't know. I felt like we got plenty of at bats in the new spring training, summer camp, whatever. I think we're, looking at information from last year, or things have been a little bit different than what we expected for some of these guys. So I think there's an adjustment period. Obviously, we got to be better offensively to have a chance. So I trust our guys, and I know that we're going to continue to, monitor every game and look into the information of every game and make adjustments. That's what we have to do. So it's something that we're going to talk about, the day after tomorrow. We got a new game 2 days from now, and we just got to be better offensively.